Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're continuing our X-Men reading journey. Today we're going to start from issue 125 of X-Men, which debuted in September of 1979. And we're going to end this on issue 128, which debuted in December of 1979. Now, before we start the video, I'd like to ask you guys, if you've been enjoying these videos, can you please go ahead and hit that like button? Really helps out spread this video out, right? So more people can check them out. So here on the Uncanny X-Men issue 125, we see now the price has changed to 40 cents. So the price of the comics went up at this time from 35 cents. And here it's issue 125. And you see the Phoenix, aka Jean Grey, right here using the power of the Phoenix in the Danger Room. So that's the cover. Let's get started with the first page. Moira McTaggart is running experiments and like tests on Jean Grey, who at this point is basically Phoenix already. She has the new costume. And back in issue 110, Jean Grey went to space to fight this guy named Scott Lang. In space, while saving the X-Men, she met this entity called the Phoenix, which kind of helped her to save the rest of the X-Men. But now she has like this bond with it, right? We thought she was dead. This Phoenix rose from the ashes, brought her back from the dead. And ever since, she's been slowly getting stronger. So we think this power's still there. And Moira McTaggart is a little iffy about it, because she's like, something this powerful, if it gets corrupted, it will be hard for us to stop it, right? In the background, we see this strange, almost zombie-looking creature. Somehow he got into the vicinity, and he's hearing their conversation. So very creepy looking. We're sowing the seeds here for. So this guy's gonna be the next villain they gotta face. We now cut to another scene where Magneto is in space. He's in this asteroid he calls Asteroid M. Basically like a big ship or like an island that he just stays there where nobody can bother him. Because that's all he wants, is kind of to be left alone. He's not up to villainous things. The character himself has evolved from where he started. He fights only when there's a cause or a reason to. Now we see this other character named Mastermind, who they made a comeback in the previous issue. And he met Jean Grey, and he's been slowly kind of manipulating her. He has the ability to follow her around, and every time he follows her around, he makes her think that he looks like somebody different. So it doesn't look like the same person's following you around. It's just, so he's been slowly talking to her as different characters and getting to know her, her likes, dislikes, so that then he can come back as Mastermind again and kind of manipulating her by making himself seem like the perfect guy, like, oh, we have so much in common and whatever, right? Because he will know all her likes and he'll pretend to like the same things. So he's kind of like seducing her. He has been in the background of the stories for a while, and now we're starting to find out why. What is his agenda? So he's saying he wants Jean Grey to be his Black Queen. He's a higher up. He's a mutant, but he's like in a higher up society. You know, people that want to be judges and presidents and politicians. He's with like rich mutants basically, and positions like White Queen, Black Queen, stuff like that. Now we get back to Moira McTaggart. She's stressed the F out right here. She's like, man, like, I kind of wish Professor Xavier was here, because I don't have a good feeling about Jean Grey. Like, she's getting too powerful and she's starting to change as a person, her personality. I think the Phoenix is still in her, and that's what's giving her this power. And she's like, Professor Xavier would know what to do, but instead I'm left here by myself, while he's up in space with Lilandra. Lilandra is like his wife at this time. She is kind of like an important person in the Sheer Empire. Sheer Empire is like kind of like a government or police in space. They kind of run the show and set the laws. While Professor Xavier's in space, you know how he could read minds? Boom, he gets this like feeling about Jean Grey, and he's like, hey, she's alive and something's going on. He could feel the power of the Phoenix as well. He's like alert now, and he's like, maybe I should go back to Earth, because I don't have a good feeling about that like message I just got. The X-Men are kind of pointing out to her like, hey, you're dressed a little bit scandalous. You know, you're showing a lot of shoulder with this like shirt she has on. It's too revealing. And that's not what Jean Grey normally does. She's more conservative than that. And she's just here in her thought bubbles, I'll dress however I damn well please. Why are they criticizing me? Gotta remember, this is like the 70s, so this is considered very normal now what she's wearing, but I guess at that time, or for Jean Grey at least, it was like a little too much. But the point was that we're hinting at that she's turning into a bad girl, not just superpower wise, but just as a person. Her mentality is little different. Now she's back in the danger room thinking about this whole situation. And boom, something happens where now she's dressed like some type of queen or royalty in the olden days. And she's like, what the hell? But it's all just in her imagination. Someone is messing with her mind. As this happens, that creature that we saw that looked like a zombie in the background, boom, he tackles her. So we've revealed the villain. We jump back to the rest of the X-Men, and they call to Muir Island where Polaris is at. And Cyclops is letting her know, hey, all the X-Men are alive. We didn't die in the Savage Land, like transported somewhere else, right? So she's like, oh, all the X-Men are alive. She's so relieved. At this point, Jean Grey already knows that, but Polaris doesn't know that yet, and the issue kind of ends there. Now we jump into issue 126. Here in the cover, it's almost like an homage to Giant Size X-Men. So this looks pretty cool. We got all the new characters of the X-Men here, including Cyclops. Cyclops is the only one that's from the old team. So this has been a few years now, and we still don't have the old team back. Only Cyclops. But the original team, Beast, Archangel, all of them have been gone for a while. And we see Polaris passed out because she was on the phone with Cyclops in the previous issue. Something happened. That's why they immediately flew over there. And we see a corpse here. A very zombie-looking corpse. So something's up. It turns out this new villain that the X-Men are gonna face, he has the power to jump from body to body. But as he uses a body, he's using up all the energy in it. That's why it starts looking like a zombie over time. So once the body dies, he just jumps into a new body. That's why we found this corpse here. Lorna Dane, aka Polaris, Multiple Man, Jean Grey, all the X-Men here, even Moira McTaggart, are all passed out. And the X-Men, when they finally wake up, they're kind of asking them, what do you remember? What happened? Whoever knocked all of you guys out must be a heavy hitter because he took everybody out. And these are all people with a lot of superpowers. So we know we're dealing with a very powerful person here. Powerful entity, mutant, whatever the case may be. We jump to the next page and we got Mastermind here. Multiple Man is onto him. He goes, hey, somebody's been messing with Jean Grey's mind. It's this bastard right here. So he follows him. Mastermind again shows up in the same place as Jean Grey, pretending to be saving somebody and pretending to look all handsome so that's what she will see. So she's like, this guy's so heroic and so nice and very handsome. So he's still making her fall in love with him to the point where she's like, I can't stop thinking about this guy. But he's planting those seeds, brainwashing her. As this is happening, Wolverine meets up with Proteus. So Proteus is this villain that's been turning the corpses into zombies, right? So he meets up with Wolverine. He starts fighting him. And we find out his power. His power is he could warp reality, make you see and feel things that aren't there. And he could go into other people's bodies and use up their energy. So if you kill the body, you don't necessarily kill him. He just jumps onto another body. And all you're doing is hurting innocent people, right? Innocent people's bodies that he consumes. So he's a tough cookie to beat because how are you gonna kill him when he could just bounce onto another body? Once he fights Wolverine here, he warps reality. He makes Wolverine's bones and everything look all twisted here. And he really messes with Wolverine's mind. Like Wolverine is like really scared of this guy now. And he kind of does this to other X-Men as he's fighting them here. But it messes more with Wolverine because he's considered the most mentally strong. So he's not used to dealing with this. So the other X-Men have overcome fears before, so they know how to do it. He's never been scared of anything, so he's never like had to overcome a fear. And it's really messing with him. Storm powers through this thing he's doing to her. And again, she's kind of the one to come save the day and fight the villain. While a lot of the other X-Men are kind of passed out at this point. So she's fighting him one-on-one and he kind of destroys her too. This guy's like really tough to beat. Now we see Moira McTaggart and Cyclops. In the background, she's aiming a sniper gun at him. She's about to take this guy out the game. Damn, and Cyclops sees her, says, hey, you can't just shoot to kill. And she drops a bomb on Cyclops. She tells him, Cyclops, that's my son. I know what he's capable of. I know his superpowers. I have to take him out. So Cyclops and McTaggart fight over the gun because he doesn't like her tactics, basically. As they're fighting, it gives Proteus time to get away. Wow, all kinds of crazy stuff is going down. I mean, we got Mastermind messing with Phoenix. And then we got Proteus here, super powerful. And then a crazy twist is that he's Moira McTaggart's son. Cyclops is breaking the news. And they're like, man, we haven't met with a guy this powerful since Magneto. Like, how are we going to deal with him? Cyclops points out that Wolverine looks a little shook. And Wolverine gets pissed. He's like, I'm never shook. You know, I'm a man's man. So he starts trying to have a fight with Cyclops, and Cyclops easily hands him his ass. Proteus totally threw his game off. Like, he can't even win a fist-to-fist fight with Cyclops. So Storm settles everyone down. She's putting her powers of wind and being like, everybody calm your ass down. And she relaxes everybody with her powers. Wolverine, Cyclops, Colossus, everybody, because we were having a whole disagreement here. And she's the more calmer of everybody, really showing leadership, like her potential. Moira McTaggart goes to visit this guy named Joe, and she tells him, I have a secret to tell you. I got pregnant by you a long time ago, and I had a kid. I just never told you. So you have a son now, and he's a mutant, and he freaking hates you because he's never met you and feels you abandoned him, and he's coming after your ass. Moira waits for him at Joe's because she pretty much knows this is where he's gonna be headed. And just as she thought, he shows up right there. Twist here is he consumes Joe's body. And we know what he does once he possesses a body. He doesn't leave it till he drains it. And he's a walking dead man, basically, right? Before she went to visit this guy, she had let all the X-Men know where she was gonna be. So they all show up right in the nick of time. And this guy's just taking them all out. We jump into issue 128, which is the last issue of 1979. The cover looks awesome. You see all the buildings warping and stuff. So this cover does a good job of showing you what type of superpower they're fighting against. And we see all the X-Men fighting the buildings. Proteus is trying to kidnap Moira McTaggart because that's his mom. And he's like, oh, why don't you love me, mom? Why did you abandon me? And he's trying to take her, right? And he still somewhat acts like a little kid at times, even though he's super powerful. So we know he's in adult bodies. That's what he's possessing. But mentally, it's still somebody kind of young. Finally, Jean Grey gets possessed by the Phoenix. So now it's Big Gun versus Big Gun. And she starts going at it with Proteus. Two total powerhouses. This was a really cool fight scene here. Like, you know, these are two heavy hitters. They're fighting and they're kind of evenly matched. The rest of the X-Men show up to help Jean Grey. Proteus is using too much energy in this body. So it's already decaying and turning like a zombie. So he knows he needs to find a new host. And he needs to do it quick. Now when Proteus leaves this body to go into another body, he's just like a force of energy. Colossus, being made of metal, disrupts that force of energy. And because he's made out of metal, it kind of creates this reaction where we kind of think we've seen the end of him. Like, oh, I guess we beat him. It says the end is instantaneous. Now the X-Men are consoling McTaggart because it was her son and how she was keeping this dark secret nobody ever knew about. Some of them are kind of conflicted because they're like, someone that powerful, we should have been aware of him so that we know how to stop it or handle it in case he ever cross our paths. And others are like, you know, she was just trying to forget about that bad situation. So that's the end of this issue. Hopefully you guys like what you saw. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way I'll notify you on the feed next time the new video drops. Other than that, I'd like to thank you guys for checking out the video, and I'll check you guys out next time.